Before blockchain, machine learning, and plague-induced socioeconomic panic were the biggest business trends, it seemed like everyone was trying to be the next Facebook or Twitter. Everybody remembers the death of Google+, MySpace, and most tragically Vine. But does anyone remember iTunes Ping? Or what about Yahoo Meme? The 2010s were full of people trying to launch some new social media site with one spin or another. Which brings us to 2014. Gemmer was a startup that aimed to make social media, but for collectors. It unfortunately never quite took off and came to an abrupt end in January 2020, where they announced that the website would be closing down in only 3 days on the 27th. For some, this may have come out of the blue, as there wasn't any immediately obvious signs that the site was in danger. For me, it was a surprise as I only learned that it died a few weeks after the fact when I went to try and check something and got an error message instead. So what happened to Gemmer, and what were some of the potential factors in its relatively quiet demise? The information surrounding Gemmer is relatively sparse, at least from what my research has indicated. It never really had much of a footprint online, and as a result there's not much of the site remaining on archives like the Wayback Machine. There's a lot of the picture missing, but I hope that what I've managed to find, combined with my personal experiences with the site, can shed some light onto the death of this platform. And stay tuned till the end of this video, where I will be unboxing quite possibly my rarest collectible. Gemmer started off as AddictGem. It's unclear when they rebranded, but we do know they managed to raise $4.9 million of investment. By comparison, Facebook got $12 million when they were on the same stage, so that's actually not too bad for a much more niche website. CEO Terry Anderton described the platform as a combination of eBay, Facebook groups, Antiques Roadshow, and a 24/7 Comic-Con. The website revolved around an individual user's collections and clubs, which were essentially like the aforementioned Facebook groups. Users would post pictures of an item, add a title and description, add it to one of their collections, and then share it within a relevant club. You could also post directly to a club, almost exactly like a Facebook group. You could mark an item for sale, and if you shared it in a club, it would be featured in a separate tab of items that users in that club were selling. This is where the first issue with the site arises. Posting an item on the site was actually quite clunky. Oftentimes the UI would freeze and crash, and you would have to start over from the beginning. Not only that, but sometimes the order of the pictures would get jumbled up or the pictures wouldn't be oriented in the right way. I personally found that it was easier to post from the mobile app, which led to an awkward procedure of uploading pictures via the app and then adding in information on the desktop site. Other users reported similar experiences with the site. This is one of the main reasons why I wasn't very active on the site, as it was just too much of a hassle to regularly post items. There was also not a huge amount of support for YouTube videos. Sure, there was a dedicated field for adding a video link in an item's post, but the links were practically hidden on the mobile app, severely decreasing visibility of the video unless the link was posted separately to your profile or a club status feed. Even then, it wasn't until much later that the links would actually embed within status updates viewed within the mobile app. It's my opinion that this discouraged YouTubers who made video reviews from seriously considering the website as a viable way to promote their channel, which was a hugely missed opportunity to form a symbiotic relationship with relevant online personalities. The website did have an official blog, delivering short articles with news, opinion pieces, and other such content with the occasional spotlight featuring a user on the site. I actually was featured fairly early on in this initiative, although the article has since become lost due to the site going down. After a lot of searching, I was able to find a partial image of the header they made for the blurb they wrote about my profile, and recreated the rest of it in Photoshop. The blog definitely was a good addition to the site, but ultimately forgettable. Another major weakness of the site was that there wasn't really a way to filter the main page. It was just a raw feed of posts taken directly from all of the clubs you were a part of. This made the site fairly uninteresting to browse, as there was usually a lot of content on your main feed that you really didn't have any interest in. Collecting is inherently a very niche hobby that's highly specialized without a huge amount of overlap. For example, if we were to take action figures as a category, there's a huge difference between domestic companies like Hasbro and McFarlane and figures from overseas companies like Bandai and Good Smile Company. Even the umbrella of anime figure can encompass all manner of things like scale figures or figures from series you have absolutely no interest in. So as a result, it was really easy for your feed to get flooded with things that just had absolutely no relevance to you personally. The marketplace aspect of the website was also bare bones at best. With no real dedicated spot for the marketplace beyond the list of items for sale on individual profiles or in clubs, it felt like it was tacked on and not really a major focus of the website. I originally joined the site in hopes of selling some of the items I had for sale elsewhere on the web, but I can't recall ever making a single sale through the site. For contrast, let's take a look at some of Gemmer's competitors. Facebook groups are much better geared towards buying and selling items, especially now with the ever-expanding Facebook Marketplace and even the option to sell and ship items directly through the platform itself. My Figure Collection also has a decent classified ad style system that notifies users when an ad is posted for an item on their wishlist. Dedicated forums like r/ToyExchange and 4chan provided much more activity in this regard, as well as a number of Discord servers that cater to collectors, with dedicated channels facilitating a peer-to-peer marketplace. In general, Gemmer didn't feel particularly focused as a website. There didn't seem to be much in the website's design that encouraged user interaction, while sites like My Figure Collection with its user blog section, other online forums, Discord servers, and subreddits had a primary focus on discussion and conversation, which made them much more compelling. The way Gemmer went about promoting itself elsewhere on the web was also lacking. To my knowledge, it didn't have an official Facebook page, the official Twitter account was fairly basic, and their YouTube channel didn't seem to actually have much of a focus on promoting the website until much later on in its lifespan, instead trying to be more of a general hobby/fan channel. While Gemmer did do giveaways and sponsorships with some hobby YouTubers, their campaign presence was not nearly as prevalent as other common sponsors such as the Big Bad Toy Store. Ultimately, what got Gemmer axed was it simply wasn't making enough money. Maintaining a social media website costs cash, and it seems like the Gemmer staff couldn't quite figure out how to monetize the site well enough to keep it alive. The site had no direct ads, which, while appreciated, was definitely a major missing source of revenue. If you take a look at any of their competitors, their platforms by and large had some form of ads running on the website. Gemmer did have a sponsored partnership with Loot Anime, with a promoted official club on the website, but it's not too much of a stretch to assume that this didn't bring in nearly enough revenue to keep the site afloat. Towards the end, they launched an official store for the website, selling collectibles and other such merchandise, but it was basically just a skin for a Fulfilled by Amazon service without any real features to make it competitive with other online storefronts. When it first launched, as I was deemed a super user at the time, I was actually kinda sponsored by them in that they gave me a $100 coupon for my first order from the store, although there was no requirement for me to promote the storefront in any way. It was quite generous, although the store was a bit on the pricey side. I eventually was able to get some Harry Potter coin replicas, a Star Trek pin, and a Figma Princess Zelda for something like $15 after the coupon. Even so, the store was really too pricey to be worth shopping from, especially considering the plethora of online storefronts that provided better features, wider product selection, and lower prices. In the end, the site's lack of focus, along with major missed opportunities for revenue streams, overly vague target audience, and general usage issues is what led to its downfall. Perhaps if they had tailored the site to a more specific type of collector and capitalized on potential revenue streams, it might have survived. When I was considered a super user, I was invited to a private video conference along with the staff and other super users, and it was a fun experience that I'll never forget. However, I remember that several months after voicing my feedback in that conference, I checked back with the website and no real progress had been made on any of the points that I or other users had raised. It's a shame, really, as the fledgling community they did have, along with the close interaction with the staff, made Gemmer unique. Now all that remains are some partial archives, scattered images, fragmented snippets, and fading memories. Although, at least for me, I will also have one of the rarest collectibles that remain. This t-shirt they awarded me for becoming a super user. And for the first time ever, I'll finally open the box. So, that was the tale of Gemmer, the social media network for collectors. Did any of you use the site? Post your experiences in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.